Happy Friday. Oh my gosh, you guys made it. Made it through the craziness, and now hopefully everyone gets to relax and at least have the week off. And if not, that's fine. At least you can enjoy the weekend. So today is really quite simple, but it's quite powerful in that we often get stuck in this illusion that somehow we're not enough. Somehow we get to a conclusion where other people are better, greater. I'm broken is a big story we tell ourselves, or I can't. I just never been able to. It's just not me, I don't know. But they really, really, really want to. Whether it's to be brave or whether it's to jump without a security blanket and taking on something new, something amazing. We often get caught in the self-limiting stories about ourselves that tell us all kinds of crazy, and we kind of covered yesterday about the brain. And so I'm here to tell you some very straight up factual words of guidance. You're powerful. Everyone in this world is so powerful. We all have secret powers. We are all magical. I've said it a million times, but I'll say it again. We are made up of the same energy that makes up the stars and the sun and everything. I always think of like when I get into patterns, and we all do, of like those self-limiting beliefs or feeling disempowered in some area or just all areas of life when we're in that fog. I always love to think of it as like, I know that outside looks gray and cloudy right now, but I also know that if I could fly and I would go above the clouds, and what would you see? Even in the darkest, stormiest days, what do you see? You see light, you see blue sky, you see the bright sun. It is always there. It is always glowing. It's just how we choose to look up. So we can choose to look up in a rainy, dark day in our life or a time in our life, and we can say, great, it's raining again, it's gloomy, it's dark. Or we can look up and know that, yeah, we see that. That's a part of our reality. But another reality that's happening at the same time is also that it's beautiful. The sun is shining. And so it's the same with us. We get locked in these stories, whether people have told us or whether they're self-created. More often than not, a lot of them are self-created. We spend the most time with ourselves. And it's around a lot of I can't, and we look at other people and think, oh, well, being abundant or being wealthy is something that happens to those people. It's not something that happens to me. Or, healing and moving through my trauma, like that's just, I don't know. I feel really stuck, and that's just, somebody else has been able to do that, but it's just, I don't know, I'm just not strong enough. Or you see someone tackling a new project, a new business, a new a new idea, and wants to kind of take on being an entrepreneur. So you look at them and say, oh, wow, like that would be so great. I've always wanted to open up a bookstore. I always wanted to open up a yoga studio. Followed by these fears and these insecurities or this idea that we can't. We pluck ourselves and put ourselves in all these globes and these boxes, and we just lock ourselves there and we accept it. And sure, it's one reality, it's one option, but there are hundreds and thousands of options for us for our life. I always love the idea of putting on a creator hat. I have enough power in me to do whatever I want. And like I said previously, it's really hard, I think, the older you get, because with age comes wisdom. And eventually you get to a place where you realize, holy shit, I've been standing in my own way this whole entire time. And it is hard work, guys, getting out of your own way. But the idea of thinking you can't get out of your own way, that you can't overcome your past experiences, you can't overcome this self-limiting belief story, you can't overcome, the brain, and we often, sometimes on a day-to-day basis, we lose out in terms of power and feeling helpless to the brain, to that cycle I kind of talked about yesterday. And then we get locked in this idea, it's just too much, I can't. No, you literally can do anything. You hear about all these stories. CNN posted, they do every year. So like CNN heroes. So people who've done amazing things in the world, whether it's for the environment or whether it's for a specific kind of targeted sector, like trafficking or helping people with mental health, empowering them, all kinds of things. And so anyone can read that, and I'm guilty. I think there was 10 or 11 CNN heroes, and then they choose one. But I was reading their stories, and the shit they do with their life is like mind-blowing. And it's just like, wow, like how creative, how selfless, how giving, how conscientious, how, I don't know, all the things. And so I think we hold ourselves to all these crazy kind of standards, but they're standards that only other people get to have and be a part of. I'm a huge advocate for healing your relationship with money. You know, so many people, and I've seen this for so long, especially having been in network marketing for a while, this idea of walking around the world and wealth and abundance and time freedom, and, you know, all of that is something that just happens to somebody else. It doesn't happen to me. I just lived with this scarcity mentality my whole life. It's just always going to be, I'm always going to struggle. If you actually stop and listen to people day to day, even your siblings or family or friends, the stories they actually will tell themselves around not being good enough, that is just always going to be like this. Shit always happens to me. And so humans can easily get locked into that. And it's very disempowering, and it's hard to come out of, but you got it. You have the power. You are no different than an amazing, shaman. You are no different than, a lot of people ask about my gifts. You can do it. Everybody has the power. Everybody, typically, for the most part, everybody is clairvoyant, or all the things, all the clairs, which I won't get into, but most people are. It's just practice. It's like learning how to throw a football. It's not something that everyone just picks up a football and knows how to do. It takes skill and practice, and you look to others for guidance, and, you try new ways, and you research maybe the history of, like, I don't know, holding a football, and you do your work. If that's something that you want, if that's a goal you want to achieve, it's the same thing with anything else. Same with gifts. So everyone is super intuitive. Everyone is so beautiful. Every soul in this world has such a light in them, and everybody actually can. And so get out of your own goddamn way and start doing the work that you need to look at those self-limiting beliefs, unflip those boxes that you've put yourself in over the years, and start connecting with your true self. What are your heart's desires? What do you want for yourself? We're not getting any older. What do you want to achieve? What does success look like to you? What does joy look like to you? What is peace? And for a lot of people, their bars aren't going to be really high, and that's okay. Some people just want a very kind of simple life, and they want peace, and they want happiness, and they want to volunteer, and they want to give of themselves and be of service to humanity. Amazing. As long as that is what your true self wants, as long as it's not attached to, some of those beliefs around, like, living a very simple life is like, I don't want to have too much because there's just so many people in the world that don't have a lot. Or, I've seen people go through a lot, and I just don't want to become, somebody with money, or I don't want to become someone who has too much success. I've seen that story. No, those are old individual journeys. I think, the unfortunate thing with being a spiritual individual, if you identify as a spiritual individual, is that idea that you need to, wear mala beads, and you need to, listen to peaceful mantra music, and, monks, which I do listen to Tibetan monks, but I also listen to hardcore rap and old school hip hop, because that's a part of me. And so there's this idea of being a spiritual person. You don't swear, you color in the lines, you don't speak too loudly in ways, you're kind to people, you just have enough, you give of yourself and your time and all of that. Yeah, and some of that's true if that fits with you. But, and I've said in thousands of other videos that have nothing to do with my business now, no, I've always wanted to be wealthy. I didn't come from wealth, but I want to, and I'm going to be, and I'm going to have so much money that all I want to do is these amazing things with. And there is nothing wrong with that, being a spiritual individual. So, that's just in terms of my world of kind of having to move through that of what being a spiritual individual means. I thought it meant wearing no makeup for a long time. I thought that it meant, I don't know, lots of things, and it doesn't. So check in with yourself. Who do you want to be? Who are you trying to be? And what parts of all of that actually really align with who you are? You want to be rich. Great. Be rich. That's amazing. If that's something that you want and that aligns with you because it's something that, is a part of your flow. And we also can connect, with what's a part of what's coming to us and what doesn't really fit. But don't let those ideas of like societal constructs around, like if you're rich, you're a bad person. A lot of people look especially at wealth and abundance because it's a huge, let's be honest, money alone is what most of my clients come up in a lot of their readings is like financial security, stability, and those old wounds around scarcity, right? For so many decades, actually longer than that, it was that old school middle class mentality. I work my ass off, I work and I keep my head down and I save. And then at one point I can start to enjoy my life upon retirement. No. And then the other ideas of like people who have money are bad. People who have lots of money, it changes them. They're evil. Maybe money can do different things for people. And sometimes, there are lessons in that for them, but that's not the case for a lot of people in the world. So, I really call you to check in, especially as we head into the new decade. If you come from this lens, which how I see all of you, is you're powerful. You are badass. You are powerful. You have magical gifts. You are so powerful beyond what you can even think of. Okay? There are tools in the universe to help you and support you and to help you be that badass you want to be. You just have to find them, Sometimes people find tapping, I do TRE. Some people do meditation. Some people run, do yoga. Find something that helps you elevate yourself to the person you want to be. What else? I don't even know what my point was. I do. No, I'll just stop there because I lost my train of thought because I saw my cat jump and I thought she was going to fall. Oh my gosh, my brain is like a squirrel sometimes. But if you go through this lens of all these amazing things that I think you have infinite possibilities. I hate the idea of sky's the limit. There is no limit. The galaxy is very vast. There is no limit to things that you can accomplish, things that you can overcome, things that you can do. You want a beautiful life for yourself? That starts with being inside. It starts with gratitude for all the things you already have, acceptance of your experiences, acceptance of the choices that you have. And if you want to start calling things into your life, then do the work and do it and show up for you. Especially if you have children, show them that anything is possible in this world. Honor them, honor yourself, model it for them. So if you come from that lens that anything is possible for you, you could change your whole life right now. It takes a whole lot of work. It takes work. But if you come from that lens, what could you do? What could you do? What would you want to change in your life? What do you want more of? What do you want less of? What do you want to call into your life, especially into this new decade? What do you want to show up? What do you want? What kind of life do you want? So get rid of that bullshit mentality around I can't. That's something that, other people get, or that's something other people do. Tap into your heart. Find what aligns. There's a difference between walking around the world and be like, oh yeah, I've always wanted to do this. But really you don't. Your friends did it, and maybe a part of you when you were younger wanted to do that, but actually doesn't align with who you are. So first, of course, you need to do the work, figure out who you are, and connect with it aligns with you. But I absolutely do not believe that anybody can't do anything. It's just all about perception. Anyways, I will end there because I thought it was going to be 3 minutes, but here we are, 10 minutes later. So, ciao. Have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Be your best self. You are magical. You are badass. You are a warrior. If you've survived on this planet, which is the hardest, densest, ugliest planet, not really, it's beautiful, but with the things that happen up until this point, hold yourself in some friggin' dignity, and you have survived. Pat yourself on the back. You have shown up for yourself time and time again when you didn't, when you could have quit, when you could have walked away. You have power. I guarantee you that everyone listening to this has strengths, gifts, and magic and powers inside of them they haven't even looked into and tapped into. So if you look at yourself as this beautiful treasure chest and start to ask the right questions and go on that quest to unpack all of what this is, because you were well equipped when you came here, well equipped. They did not send you, and you did not choose to come with nothing. You are so beyond well equipped for this journey. You just got to wake up to realize that.